All right, and good afternoon, Mr. Connolly.
Oh,
Good
Connolly.
afternoon.
And would you please state your full name for the record?
Malcolm Connolly.
And Mr. Connolly, where are you testifying from at the moment?
From home, Essex, UK.
Mr. Connolly, what is your occupation?
Kilt weaver.
At present, close protection operative. I've had a couple of professions. I'm a bricklayer to trade. I was in the corrections facility, Pentonville, HMS prison. But right now, yeah, I'm a protection operative.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit, just generally, what that means?
It means looking after the personal well-being, physical well-being of any client you're detailed to.
And how long have you been in the personal security business?
25 years.
And how do you know Mr. Depp?
I know Mr. Depp maybe about 23 years ago, 24 years ago. I worked for a company called Music and Arts. The guy who owned that company was Jerry Judge. Jerry started working with Johnny way back in the early days, and I was detailed with looking after Johnny's ex, Vanessa Paradis, and Jack and Lily Rose, Johnny's kids. And my job was just to make sure they were safe when Johnny was at work.
I love that Johnny smiles when he remembers these things.
After about a
He
year
likes this guy a lot. You can tell.
Johnny asked me to go over him directly, and we'll find someone else to do the kids and that. And that's how I came across Johnny. That's how I personally met Johnny Depp.
Holy crap! It does look like Sir
How about
Davos.
the defendant in this case, Amber Heard? Are you,
Yeah,
are you familiar with Miss Heard?
I am familiar with Miss Heard, yeah. I first met Miss Heard.
Oh yeah. She could swallow a big haggis.
Probably about 2010, maybe around there. She came into the UK to do a promotional job for a movie called Drive Angry. My boss, Jerry Judge, asked me to take the detail. Went and met Amber, started the job. Amber was with her ex, Tasha, and I looked after Amber for a week. After that week, I never seen Amber again until we did the Rum Diaries, the premiere after show of the Rum Diaries.
Did you know at the time that Mr. Depp and Miss Heard were seeing each other romantically?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't. I mean, I surmised that there was a spark there, you know. It wasn't until a few nights later, we were at a dinner party somewhere, a promotional thing, and Amber and Johnny were basically, you know, sparking up. They were getting together. Then I sort of assumed that you know there was a romance happening there, budding there, you know.
And as time went on, did you have an opportunity to observe how Mr. Depp and Miss Heard interacted with each other?
At the beginning, you know, lovey-dovey, everything was great. The honeymoon period was on, and it was, it was good. I mean, it was great to see Johnny happy again. Amber was.
Is she getting emotional?
Lovely, charming.
Over this?
As she usually is, you know, good as gold. And then things started to change. Amber started to change. Amber started getting a bit, I would say, a bit more feisty.
I was gonna say feisty.
You know,
Damn it.
It's a great word.
See that Amber wanted to wear the pants in this relationship. That was pretty obvious.
Wear the pants in the relationship?
And
Yes.
what in particular made you think that you observed personally?
Just the way you know, if something wasn't quite right, or Amber could get a bit frosty at the drop of a hat. So as time went on, you know, I could see them change. I could see Amber change. I could see Johnny getting quieter. You get into the car and nobody was speaking, and you know, it just things started changing. Amber started getting a bit more grumpy, shall we say.
Grumpy.
How did she get along with you?
Absolutely fine. Amber was fine with me. Amber was never anything but professional, polite with me. You know, she was. Amber was fine with me.
Did you ever see or hear any arguments between Mr. Depp and Miss Heard?
When you say see, I heard. I mean, I could hear at times in certain accommodations we'd be staying at. I could hear Amber, screaming. I could hear shouting and bawling, and I could hear it going on. Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't there every single night. When we're working in the UK, there's nights maybe I'd get home because Jerry would be there. But yeah, I did hear. Yeah, definitely for a fact I could hear sometimes the shouting and bawling. It's mostly I could hear Amber screaming.
Did you ever witness any physical violence between the two of them?
No, never. I've never seen any physical violence. It's not a thing. It's not a thing people would do in front of security. It's not a thing that would happen in front of myself or Jerry Judge or Sean Bett or some. It just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. No, I never seen any physical security. I never seen any hands-on. No.
Okay, what do you mean you never saw any hands-on?
Well, I never seen any slapping or grabbing or punching or hitting. I never seen any of that physically.
Did you ever observe any physical injuries on Miss Heard?
Never, no.
How about on Mr. Depp?
Yes, it started off with maybe a scratch once in a while, a swelling, but it got more. It got more. Yeah, I'm not talking that he was marked every week or every 2 weeks, but yeah, he sustained marks. Yeah, definitely, he was getting marked.
Can you generally describe for us what you remember about the marks you saw on Mr. Depp?
In the prison service, you're taught to pick up, log in your mind, mental logging in your mind, marks, bruises, bully patterns, stuff. What I noticed straight away was most of these marks and most of these things through my training, it's happening in the left-hand side of his face. And it would be scratches on his neck, maybe a fat lip in the corner, maybe a bruising on the eye socket. Dull impacts, except for obviously the scratches, maybe on his left ear. Sometimes it'd be two marks, 2 lines, 2 trams. It was getting more regular. As I say, not every week, but it was definitely happening. Yeah.
Can we see Plaintiff's Exhibit 162, please? And Mr. Connolly, are you able to see the picture on? I assume you can see it on your screen.
Yeah, as I say, the guy in the bow tie, he's guest relations manager. He was detailed to, fix us up anything we needed, to excursions and transports and stuff. Then it's Miss Heard.
She looks drunk.
The guy, that's
Probably
the chef
are.
who looked after this. He cooked for us. He's a great chef, by the way. He looked after us, and that's Johnny. And I also noticed, if you look at that picture, like I said, on the left-hand side, under his eye, there's a swelling. And you see a swelling just on the left-hand side of his nose and under his left eye.
And what do you interpret that swelling to be?
Objection, he's not a doctor.
What do I interpret it as? Either he's walked into a door or a door's walked into him.
Can you tell us anything? And we can take this. Thank you. Do you recall what year Mr. Depp and Miss Heard went on their honeymoon in the picture we were just looking at?
I don't know, is it 2013?
What can you tell us about that trip generally, and particularly focused on how Mr. Depp and Miss Heard were interacting?
The trip started fine, absolutely fine. 2 days, 3 days into the trip, I can see Johnny going down. I can see him coming down, He's just not enjoying this. He's not enjoying this. But, I can't, it's not my business to step in and that. I just do my job. But I can see he's not enjoying this.
Have you ever seen Mr. Depp use any drugs?
Yes, I've seen him smoke marijuana. I had my suspicions. I have my suspicions that when he goes off to the bathroom, he probably does a bit of cocaine. I've never seen him do it, as Mr. Depp would never do a line or anything of cocaine in front of me, or Jerry Judge, or Sean Bett, or anybody. Johnny Depp would never compromise my license, my position, and embarrass me like that. It wouldn't happen. So to answer to your question, I've seen him smoke weed, yes.
What changes, if any, have you noticed in his behavior when he's under the influence of marijuana?
Calmer,
To be
He's
honest,
hungry.
more
a
relaxed.
bit more.
Shreds on his guitar.
No, sort of uptight. But he's not out of his head. He's perfectly functioning. I mean, you can talk about anything, any conversation you want to talk about. he's neither up nor down with that. You know, he really isn't. He's got a very high tolerance for any substance, Johnny. You know, I would say so.
Not a good answer.
Jack Sparrow's more drunk than Johnny Depp, to be honest.
So,
Is that supposed to say
he
that?
likes-
Oops.
Well, he used to like a wine. I would say the last couple of years, that's dropped drastically as well. In my last year with Johnny, he's not a big boozer now. He's not a boozer now. You know, he's not. And he was never out his head in wine. He was never, you know. I think I've seen John in the 20 odd years I've been with Johnny. Other than that, there's not a lot of difference in Johnny's demeanor or behavior.
what changes in his behavior, if any, did you observe on those occasions when you suspected but didn't know for sure that he was under the influence of cocaine?
He just seemed a bit more, I don't know, happier, up, not so down, you know. But I wouldn't say he's not leaping around kicking his heels or anything. He picks his guitar up and then he gets right into his guitar, and there's no major changes really. You know, he's fine. You know.
Now, you mentioned you traveled with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard on their honeymoon on the Orient Express. Where else have you traveled with them?
Well, all over the world, Japan, China, Germany. I've been all over the States. Went to an interesting place, Hicksville. That's an interesting story. Yeah, all over the world. Australia. Went to Australia.
Hicksville, you said?
With Amber and Johnny, they've decided they're going to go to Hicksville for a day and a night, I think it was. Anyway, we go there. There's a lot of booze. All the booze comes up. Party starts. Well, sort of sitting around in the sun, messing around. Party starts. So there's loads of booze and weed, and I think mushrooms, some psychedelic mushrooms. That's going around. As I'm watching exactly what's all happening, everybody's happy, you know. Johnny, Amber, everybody's happy. As I'm watching what's happening, I can see Johnny and Amber getting a bit animated. And they were probably about maybe 25 feet from me. So I approach, and I've been working with Johnny that long. I don't have to really say anything. I only have to look at his face. And Johnny can talk to me through his face. He doesn't need to say a word. So I know what's happening. So, and I say in a low voice, guys, let's keep this private. Let's start walking towards the caravan. Let's, take this away from here. As I'm walking ahead, going ahead, I can hear sort of, bickering behind me. Johnny's trying to talk in his, low tone, keep things a bit quiet. But Amber's getting a bit more loud, a bit more narky, So anyway, I get them to the caravan, put them inside, and I go to my caravan. That's it. Don't hear anything, don't see anything until the next morning. We sit around the pool, a couple of hours, and we head back to LA.
My question is just, what prompted you to make that suggestion?
Well, it was getting kind of animated. It was getting animated, and no one wants to see their dirty laundry in public.
Were they both animated?
More so Amber. Johnny, yes, but more so Amber.
Do you remember anything in particular that Miss Heard was saying at the time?
I don't recall, no. As I say, it wasn't really coherent. It was more the animation, the head movements and the stern looks and stuff that prompted me to do what I have to do,
You listed out various places that you traveled with Mr. Depp and Miss Heard, and I think you listed Japan, Germany, Hicksville, and Australia. Do I have that right?
Correct, yes.
When were you in Australia?
2015, Pirates 5.
Does anything stand out to you about your time in Australia in 2015?
Yeah, Johnny lost a finger. One afternoon I was instructed to go to Johnny's accommodation.
Objection, and can we just approach
Okay,
from the-
all right. Hold on a minute, Mr. Conley.
Objection. Everything that man said hurts our case. Can we please strike it from the record?
Johnny's looking. He's solid here. He's looking confident.
All right, Mr. Connolly, please continue, but as you go, please avoid discussing the substance of any communications that you had with Mr. Depp or his security, and just focus on what you observed.
I arrive at Johnny's accommodation with my driver, Andrew. I noticed that there's an SUV, one of the security, the RST, resident security team. One of their vehicles is sitting outside the door, with no driver. As I approach the door, I hear a muffled shouting and screaming, and because the entrance to this house, there's a massive oak door. I mean, it's huge, and it's got to be about 25 mil thick. So I open it, and it's chaos. It's screaming and shouting, but all I can see with my eyes is Johnny. He's wearing a jacket, a hat, and a bag with his notebooks, and he's sort of, nursing one hand. So I'm saying, well, hey, what's going on? And it's screaming and shouting. It's madness. Amber's irate. I mean, tenacious. It's crazy stuff. Johnny's, shouting back. So I've said, Johnny, let's go. Let's get out, that's my job, to remove him from a situation. Let's get out. I do a couple of steps with him. Johnny, give me 5 minutes, Mal. 5 minutes. Well, he's the boss, There's no bullets flying. So, okay, give him 2 minutes. I said, let's go. Eventually, I get him out. I managed to get him outside the door. We go downstairs. But Amber appears from somewhere. Now, I don't know if Amber was upstairs or in the room to the left or wherever. But she appears and she's screaming. Berating him. She's basically berating him. Yeah, fuck off, she's saying, Johnny. Yeah, that's what you do. Fuck off. That's what you do all the time. That's all you ever do is fuck off. You fuck off with your guys, you fucking coward. That's what you fucking do. You fucking coward. Yeah, fuck off with your guys, you big man. All that shit that goes with it.
Fuck off with your fucking half a finger.
That time Amber's on the threshold of the accommodation. She's screaming, fuck off, you fucking coward. That kind of words, And I get him into the car, and I want to sit in the same. I usually sit in the front seat shotgun, but I want to sit in the same seat at the back, so I can have a look what's going on here and have a chat and have a talk. But when I get around the car, the driver's not locked the door, so he's out the door again, and he's making his way back up the stairs. I get back round again. By the time I get to the top, there's two concrete stairs to the front door. He's just crossing the threshold, and the screaming starting again. Excuse me. Amber is screaming again. Johnny, let's go. And this time it's a wee bit more force, and I managed to actually basically pull him out of the place. Get him into the car. Doors are locked this time. Into the car, we take off. I got him back to my apartment using a sort of secret way through the underground car park and serviceless. I get him up to my apartment. Get him into my apartment. Start washing his hand, basic triaging his hand, washing it, first aid. It's a mess. His finger's just a mess. It's like one of them cartoon exploding cigars. I always think in my mind that one of them cigars that blow up, the cartoon foam, and it's so flapping around. And I can see bone. There's bone there. It's smashed to bits. And he's wincing as I'm trying to wash his hand. Anyway, I sit down.
Oh, it hurt.
I phoned Debbie the nurse, who's living in the same apartment block as me. So that's my first thing. Phone Debbie. About 20 minutes later, if that, I don't recall. Maybe 25, maybe half an hour. But she turns up with Dr. Kipper. We have to go to the hospital with this. There's no other way. We have to go to the hospital. This has to be seriously looked at. We get to the hospital, and that's when that's when his treatment started.
Okay.
When you were in the
That view
of Mr. Depp and Miss Heard, in the house in Australia. How far away were you from Miss Heard?
When I first entered the house, Miss Heard wasn't visible to me. Only Johnny. It's only when we started to leave, Miss Heard appeared, and she's probably, well, you're talking 2 feet, 3 feet.
Did you observe any injuries on Miss Heard?
No injuries, none.
Other than the injury to his finger, did you observe any injuries on Mr. Depp?
No, no. Well, I say no. You know, there was a mark in his face, and I didn't know what that was, so I never really put it down too much. But in the hospital, I took a photograph, and when I look at that photograph, I can see 2 injuries. When we're sitting in the car,
Hold on, Mr. Conley.
Okay. Objection to the extent he's going to be talking about what the mark is on his, since he didn't see what happened and he's not a doctor, we can't describe what.
This security guy
no,
who's
that's
seen
fine.
numerous.
We
Are you
can-
gonna move on? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Security guy's never seen injuries. Come on.
Seriously, never seen a cigarette butt?
I think you've generally described for us the kinds of things Miss Heard was saying. How would you describe her overall demeanor when she and Mr. Depp were in each other's presence in the house in Australia?
I had never seen him in the house that particular day. The only time I seen Miss Heard and Johnny in that house is when I arrived there to extract them.
And how did Miss Heard seem to you when you saw her on that day when you arrived to extract him?
Crazy. Crazy. Fierce, fierce.
Say it one more time.
What was
Bati.
what was the last thing Miss Heard said as you were taking Mr. Depp out of the house to go to your apartment and then the hospital?
Yeah, the last words I recall hearing as I'm getting Johnny out is, yeah, just fuck off with your guys. You're fucking covered like you always do.
I have no further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
All right.
Good punctuating question at the end. I like that.
Mr. Connolly,
You're
you still
paid
work
by
for
Mr.
Mr. Depp?
There
I
you go.
do, yeah.
And you've worked for him now for about 18 years?
No.
Well, 2 years ago, you said you worked for him for 16 years, so 2 more years would be 18.
No,
now.
I worked with him. I didn't work for him. I worked for a guy called Jerry Judge in Music and Arts. Johnny Depp never paid me. Johnny Depp started paying me 2 years ago.
Okay, so now you're being, so you were working, Jerry Judge was your boss until he passed away, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and now you get paid directly by Mr. Depp, correct?
Right.
And you're paid a salary by Mr. Depp?
No.
And Mr. Depp's also provided you gifts, correct?
Gifts?
Gifts, money,
Yes.
gifts. And,
No. Yes, Johnny's gave me gifts. I've given Johnny gifts.
and she's given you gifts over $8,500, correct?
$8,500.
Yeah,
He gave me a lot more than that.
okay.
Oh
Yes, of
man.
course I'm loyal to Mr. Depp. I'd be loyal to you if I was working for you.
Okay. Now, going to Australia, you said you went to Australia in 2015 with Mr. Depp, correct? Or you went before Mr. Depp, but you were there to work for Mr. Depp, correct?
Correct.
Do you know if Mr. Depp spent any time with Marilyn Manson in Australia before Amber arrived?
Don't recall. I don't recall Marilyn Manson being there.
So you don't. So as Mr. Depp's security, you don't know if Mr. Depp was with Marilyn Manson at any time?
I left Australia to smuggle 2 dogs back out of Australia back to.
No. I'm talking about it. I'm talking about
It's
in the
smuggling.
beginning of March 2015. You were that.
I
You
don't
were.
recall
You were.
Marilyn Manson.
You don't know one way or the other.
No.
Were you seeing Mr. Depp every day in early
Not at
March
the beginning.
2015?
No, not at the beginning. I had other duties.
And you don't know when Amber arrived in Australia, correct?
No.
But you do know that Amber stayed with Mr. Depp, right?
Yes.
And when you arrived at the house, you could hear a ruckus, correct?
Yes. Well, yes. I could hear. Yeah. I could hear. Definitely hear something through the door. Yeah.
But
describe the
you said the
ruckus.
door was so thick you couldn't hear the actual words that were being said. Is that right?
No, just a shouting.
And then you went in the house and saw Mr. Depp in the foyer, correct?
Yes, correct.
And Mr. Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he?
No.
Johnny being Johnny.
Relevance.
I'll allow. Next one.
Everybody's laughing.
Get Mr.
Everybody's
Depp out of
laughing.
the house, correct?
Correct. I was trying to get Mr. Depp out of the house, yes.
And Mr. Depp was refusing to leave the house, was he not?
Not so much refused. He just wanted 2 minutes to say his piece.
You took Mr. Depp's arm to try to move him out, but he broke away. Isn't that right?
Yes.
I mean, so he was strong enough to break away from your grip, correct?
No.
So you had his arm and he broke away, though, correct?
No.
Isn't that what you just said?
I said
No.
he tried.
I let him go.
You let go. Yes, but it wasn't
Yes,
easy.
of course.
It wasn't
I'm not
easy.
going to drag him by it.
So Mr. Depp's your boss. You'll do what Mr. Depp wants, correct?
No.
To an extent.
It's not easy to get Mr. Depp out of the house, correct?
Not easy.
Never ask a question you don't already know the answer
It's
to.
Defendant's
Rule 1 of
Exhibit
cross.
380A.
They've violated that rule so many times
What is this?
in this trial.
What is
True.
this?
Yeah.
And this
True.
is a recording from Australia, and it's just of Mr. Depp.
I don't think that's in evidence, Your Honor.
Hold on, it's not in evidence.
Our plaintiff's exhibit.
Yeah, Australia's not in evidence
I
yet.
don't believe there are any recordings from Australia in evidence, Your Honor.
I don't
think-
have
I think
anything in
this-
evidence.
There definitely is. It's just of Mr. Depp. We can.
No, that's the UK trial, bud. Wrong trial.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the UK trial, bud.
Whoops.
I have, Jamie says it was ID'd but never admitted.
Boom.
It was.
You done
Your Honor,
fucked up.
the recordings from Australia have other voices on them. and
We're
I
only asking
also-
for the. It's only the clip of Mr. Depp.
Okay, wait,
Well,
I
I
have,
also-
I have it. It's actually plaintiffs 380A, minute 33 to 34.
What's the foundation for using it with this witness?
He was at the house.
It's in evidence,
It's in
that's
evidence.
fine.
I thought it's not evidence. It's,
Correct.
That
it's
is-
not admitted.
It is.
Oh,
It is now.
What you are and who you are and how you fucked me over and make me feel sick of myself. There's still a lot left in the day. Maybe you should dye your hair. I see your roots.
Did you hear that, Mr. Connolly?
I did, yes.
And that was the sort of condition Mr. Depp was in when you saw him at the house, correct?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Depp was upset and angry when you saw him at the house, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Now, did you take Mr. Depp to the hospital?
Along with others, yes.
Is it your testimony that Mr. Depp was coherent at the hospital?
Yes.
And now you say you saw no bruises or cuts on Amber on March 8th, 2015, correct?
Correct.
Isn't it true that your main concern was Mr. Depp and getting him out of the house, correct? You
Correct.
weren't concentrating on Amber, correct?
I was close enough. If there was any marks on Amber's face, I would have picked that up in 2 minutes.
As you're
Sir, I've
trying
been chained to the Home Office.
as you're trying to pull Mr. Depp out of the house, you're scanning Amber for bruises and cuts
Not scanning, but I'm looking at it.
as you're moving Mr. Depp out of the house, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. How do I know what she's going to lift?
Right.
I'm watching her. When I move a client from a bar situation, a house situation, I watch what's happening around me.
But you're not.
I know where the client is. The client's with me.
Right. The client was with you, and you're not scanning. You didn't scan Miss Heard's body for.
I scan everything. I
You
watch
scanned everything on her
every move
body?
somebody makes. That was on her body.
No.
She's wearing long sleeves, from what I recall.
And at the hospital, the doctor was told that Mr. Depp cut his finger with a knife, correct?
Correct.
Foundation?
You testified that at times you saw marks and bruises on Mr. Depp, fat lip, I think you said.
He's so flustered.
For those times that you
Yeah.
saw that, right?
I don't recall. No, you're
Okay.
talking. That's a long time ago. You know. It's
Right. And you testified in the UK in this. You testified in the UK, correct?
correct.
And you gave a witness statement too in the UK, correct?
Correct.
And you never testified to seeing any marks, bruises, or injuries on Mr. Depp, isn't that right, in the UK?
I wasn't asked in the UK.
But you never testified. You never testified to that, right?
But he wasn't
Wasn't
asked.
asked.
Okay. Now,
Nice.
you talked about this picture of that you took in Southeast Asia, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you never mentioned in the UK matter or in your witness statement, Mr. Depp having scratches and bruises on the train, correct?
I was never prompted. I was never asked.
You gave a witness statement that gave the what you saw and the relationship between Amber and Mr. Depp, and you never talked about bruises or cuts on Mr. Depp in Southeast Asia, correct?
No, I wasn't asked that.
Okay. You were not present in Miss Heard and Mr. Depp's cabin on the train, right?
No.
And if a fight
That's
occurred,
correct. That's correct.
and if a fight occurred in the cabin, you'd have no way of knowing about it, right?
I wouldn't know.
And you don't know if Mr. Depp was strangling Miss Heard, do you?
No, I wouldn't know.
You don't know if Mr. Depp had his shirt wrapped around Amber's neck, do you?
Are you fucking
Objection,
kidding me?
speculation, cumulative.
Oh, no, I wouldn't know. The only reason I would know anything in that cabin.
No, okay,
is if the
you wouldn't know.
cabin door was
You
open or
answered,
closed.
sir,
Sorry.
so you answered that.
All right. We can move on.
Okay.
Wouldn't know if you had a gun in their mouth, would you?
And thank you. I have nothing further.
All right, redirect.
Oh, that was weird. Okay.
All right, I have nothing further.
All right. Is this a witness subject to recall?
I think so. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Connolly, since you're subject to recall, did not discuss your testimony with anybody and don't watch anything about this case, okay? But you're free to log off
Of course,
today.
Your
All
Honor, yeah.
right, you're free to log off today, though,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, your next witness.
So far